It is said communication is key to success in life. So hundreds of students at Medina Valley ISD are learning to communicate with the third most used language in the U.S., American Sign Language. This week's Excel Credit Human Award goes to the teacher responsible for paving the way. It was the loudest room in the house. 900 students and staff celebrating Mrs. Suzanne Lee and her 17 years of being a trailblazer at Medina Valley High School.
It was such a surprise, and it was just amazing. I never in my lifetime would have expected this.
Ironically, her most powerful message echoes most in this very quiet classroom, where she helped students find their voice in silence.
Miss Lee has a lot of days where we can't talk at all, and all we have to do is sign, and sometimes that gets difficult, just figuring out how to communicate all day without talking.
It's definitely different, and it's hard to be able to go from talking all the time and being able to learn different accents and stuff to just using your hands. You only use your hands. You use a lot of facial expression with it to indicate what you're trying to mean, but it's definitely cool to be able to do both.
Lee's fascination with American Sign Language started 2 decades ago after a friend inspired her to take classes.
Just the way they use their facial expressions and their body language, and I just always want to know, well, how do they know how they're communicating? How do they know what they're saying?
But the Air Force wife found herself moving to San Antonio. Soon after, Mrs. Lee joined Medina Valley ISD and brought the school district its first ever ASL program, even taking on the task of creating the curriculum. Chesney Vogt says she's lived all her life unable to communicate with her deaf aunt until now.
Because before it was just someone who didn't really understand me, but now we can communicate, and she likes to know what I can do, and we can even FaceTime and talk now.
In the future, you never know who you're gonna run into or anything, and it's just gonna be an amazing thing to have.
Just like learning Spanish and stuff, they're able to communicate in a different language and to communicate with people. So that's, I think, the most wonderful thing about this teaching ASL.
I think it'll go a long way in finding a job as well. Mrs. Lee is also on multiple school committees. She is the International Society sponsor, Student Council co-sponsor, and she's involved in many community-related school projects. She's made a huge impact at her district. We want to say congratulations again to Mrs. Lee.